All right, welcome to the first ever episode of the Bigote Brothers podcast. And if you
Yes,
don't
sir.
know, so we're just two friends across two different countries trying to start something. We just talk about stuff,
Yep.
and we have mustaches. So my name's
Used
Mixie,
to,
and
but
you used to,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
just we started this just for fun. We'll see what happens, and then yeah. But anyways, so let's start talking about what we know, right? So
yeah,
obviously we're both Laker fans. For a
yep.
while now. How long you been one?
Man, been a Laker fan since what 1991.
'91. Wow.
I was like 8 years old, like Magic Johnson days.
I think I remember you started.
Post Showtime though, post
Yeah,
Showtime.
you started
Yeah.
liking the game earlier than I did because I only started following them because of Kobe.
Ah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
was '97. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw this ad and then, yeah, I just figured this guy looks all right. What's
Yeah.
this? Oh, Lakers. What is this? All right, I
Mhm.
didn't know about basketball then, but I do now. So we're both big Laker fans.
Yep.
And did you watch the game last night?
Yeah, yeah. It was heartbreaking. Franz Wagner like hit the game winner, and yeah.
It actually it actually was good for me because he's on my fantasy team, so he put up a lot of
Oh yeah,
stats there.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but watching that as a Lakers fan, that was tough. So
No, no stuff.
let's break
Yeah.
it down.
Mhm.
Let's break it down a little bit. So Lakers were fighting in a dogfight, right? There was no clear advantage in that game, and
Nope.
then
Mhm.
LeBron hit some crazy shots. I
Yeah.
think it was three straight. Was it
Yeah.
three straight threes?
Three
And
straight
then eight.
threes. Yeah. I think the one thing that kind of got them was free throw shooting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the last part, right? So
Yeah.
LeBron hit threes, AD hit threes,
Hmm.
and then they just missed free throws down the stretch.
Missed. Yeah.
I think LeBron missed a
One
couple.
of
AD
two.
missed three. Yeah,
LeBron missed one of two. I think AD missed four. I think.
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is I think look. So coming back from last year, we've seen this before, and we'll get to this in a bit. But
Yeah.
we've seen this before where they would just be bad at free throws, and they end up losing because some dude made a big shot at the
Yeah.
other end of the floor, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, it was Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. There's still a lot I think to look forward to with this team,
I'm very
but
optimistic. I'm very optimistic about this team. Yeah.
and and I think it starts with the coaching change, right? So
Oh
let's
yeah.
let's let's start with that. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
So last year, obviously, they had Darvin Ham, and then they replaced him after a year and a half with JJ
Yeah.
Redick. Now,
JJ Redick. Yeah. As I
what
would
have you
joke.
seen with JJ Redick that's different with Darvin Ham so far?
As I would joke around with my friends, people I play ball here with, like, it's amazing what you could accomplish when you don't have your hands in your pockets all the time. I mean, he's active. He has a great attention to detail. He's not. He's actively coaching. He's not passive. I mean, there's times when you can be passive, and that's when your name's Phil Jackson.
Right.
But I guess with JJ Redick, he's young. He knows a lot about the game. He's well versed, and I think the players are responding.
And that's the thing, right? So I think about a coach, and you mentioned Phil Jackson. The thing that sets him apart, I believe, from everyone else is that he was able to reach the players. He was able to have a buy-in with
Yeah,
players, and it's hard, especially when you have a generational talent like Phil Jackson did with Michael Jordan, and
yeah,
obviously now you have LeBron,
yep.
who's probably the goat as well, on the same if not level as Michael. That's debatable, but what
Yeah,
I've
still up
seen
for still up for debate. I think. Yeah,
what I've seen with JJ, okay, so obviously there was a bit of controversy when he first got hired, right? Because
yeah. No
I mean,
experience.
no
People.
experience. And
Uh,
people were joking about it. He had coached his kid's high school team. That's it.
yeah,
He was on a podcast with LeBron, which
yeah.
kind of turned into a job interview.
Uh-huh.
But
Which did
what we've
definitely.
seen is it has paid dividends. So let me just point something out, right? So the last time the Lakers had this kind of start with a rookie coach,
Hmm.
it was Pat Riley, 81-82.
Oof.
That was the last time. And the ironic thing is that,
After the whole Paul Westhead controversy, did you
yeah,
see Winning Time?
yeah, I did. I watched it. So 81, 82,
81,
they
82.
made a
Yeah,
change. Yeah, they made
yeah,
a change to Pat Riley. He won. He had a 9-4 start, and obviously we know what happened to that.
yeah,
But the ironic thing is that when I remember when JJ was in the hiring process, right? He was being compared to Pat Riley, and people were laughing,
yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
right? Because why? I mean, at least Pat Riley was a championship winning player. He was an assistant coach before that. JJ had zero experience, but
Zero
he's
experience.
actually.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to formally apologize to him right now, right? Because I was one of those doubters. I didn't think he could pull this off. I didn't think he could have the buy-in of someone like LeBron. But he's instituted this offense, and I want to talk about this offense. I want to talk about what
Yeah.
GCA did. So one of the biggest things with Darvin Ham and JJ Redick, and actually even previous coaches Frank Vogel, Luke Walton, and you don't need to
Byron
mention
Scott to
Byron
a certain
Scott. You don't
extent.
need to, but one of the main differences is the offense that he runs.
Yeah.
What have you noticed with that offense? What's the difference? What do you think?
It's just more ball movement. Um, there's more, setting up for better shots. I think that's also the reason why he benched D'Lo and started Reddish in his place because D'Lo was chucking up some shots that weren't, that were outside the offense. A lot of hurried, forced 3 pointers, off of the step back. JJ wants ball movement, continuous, screening, continuous moving without the ball, and I think that's basically also what turned AD into a beast, is because he's benefiting from this new offense that they're doing, shooting more 3 pointers, and also, and to a certain extent, they're finding him in the post as well, right?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of setup with AD in the post. They had this play. I think. Okay, let me contrast it with last year. So what I remember from last year is that the way they would set up AD in the post is that the staple of that play was LeBron. AD would set a high screen. LeBron at the top of the key, top of the 3 point line.
Yeah,
They would set a screen. He would roll to the cup, and then they would find him in the post, right?
yeah,
And spread, and the rest of the players spread out, and
yeah,
then he would just get the ball and work. But the problem with that was obviously everyone was just standing there.
yeah,
And when the defense collapsed, there was no way to go. He could either pull up a contested shot while his back was turned, or he
yep,
could pass to someone who's probably going to break it. Now, one of the main differences that I've seen with this offense is you kind of touched upon it, right? So
yeah,
the way they set up the post entry is different now. There's two things that they've used that I've seen. So they've still used that high screen and roll to get AD in. There are some variations in it. For example, what did I saw against the Jazz, the recent game against the Jazz in the NBA, in the first that NBA Cup game, right? So
yeah, the NBA Cup
what they
game.
did was, and this is the JJ difference. So LeBron was on the top of the 3 point line. AD tried to set a screen, but split it. He split the screen and ran through the hoop. So initially, that play always resulted in a lob to AD for the jam.
Yeah,
But what happened here was, this is the JJ difference right here. So I believe it was Reddish. It was on, he was on one of the wings. He set a pin down screen for Dalton Connect into the corner. That flowed into a three.
yeah.
So that's one of the main differences in this offense. There's a lot more movement, as you said, right?
So much more options with this type of ball movement, and if the dumping, setting a high screen, dumping it into AD in the post becomes predictable as well.
Yeah,
But
exactly. So
yeah,
people, I mean, I think one of the knocks on AD last year was he was having trouble being a playmaker.
yeah,
It's either he was getting. I remember he was getting doubled a lot in the low post, and then he would either throw the ball away, or just do a bad pass, or
yeah,
just put up a bad shot. He was essentially rendered. I don't want to say ineffective, but he was kind of neutered when
yeah.
he was in the post because, as again, it was predictable. People would just converge on him, and then they didn't have the shooters to actually punish the defense.
Also, one thing I think last year AD had a career low 3 point percentage. He wasn't shooting well at all last year.
Yeah, that was the big difference, right?
Yeah.
So I think the fact that JJ has empowered AD to be back to his 2024, which I'll get back in a bit. I just want to stick at this JJ point real quick. The ways they set up their offense is way different now.
Yeah.
What I've seen is so someone would just bring down the ball, they would spread out some high pick and roll and that's it. But now they're doing dribble hands-offs. They're doing slip screens. They're doing a lot of action just to disguise the plays. For example, there was this one play with Connect, I believe, that they love running where Connect would do a handoff with AR, and AR would drive, so he would attract the defense, but at the same time Dalton would get a back screen,
Yeah.
a flare screen into the wing, and then he has hope a shot. That's it.
Yep.
Those weren't there last year,
No. Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think the fact that people are more engaged on the court, as you mentioned, right? There's more attention to detail with JJ in there,
Yep.
and I don't. Okay, I don't think a lot of people expected this at all.
No. No.
But now people are just seeing that. Hey, like for me, I mean, I didn't expect this, but I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
And one of the things that this benefits the team the most, and actually a specific player is LeBron. So I want to get to LeBron. So he's 40, right?
Yeah.
He's almost we're kind of older than him, but
I know. I know. That's scary.
but think about it this way. Put it in context. There's at a basketball player in his late 30s. There's never been anyone like him
No.
doing all this stuff
Yeah.
at his age, right? You remember the older players when they got to this age. For example, I remember Hakeem getting this age. Kevin Willis, he was one of the older players.
Older
Although
players,
Kevin
yeah.
Willis wasn't really one of the best. I mean, let's not forget
He was
Michael.
one time
Michael,
All Star. You think?
yeah,
Yeah.
Michael was playing until he was 39. Given that he had knee injuries at that point. I mean, compared to what he was, that was just way different. But LeBron
Yeah.
I think he's evolved.
He's
What
he's
right? So
evolved, and it's just that he's on another level in terms of um, the longevity factor, because he hasn't. I mean, he's lost probably half, less than half of a step, but
I think more
still,
than that. But okay,
bro, the way he's averaging, like he's still averaging like 32 a game or 30 a game at this age. It's
it's
unheard of.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
as you said, right, his athleticism is pretty much gone. I remember when he was younger, and a lot of people might not remember this, when he was rookie season, first season, second season, even
Uh,
his couple of seasons in Miami, he would just blow by people and jam it on them.
oh yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the play. Just get out of his way. He's
Yeah.
100% gonna get by this person,
Yeah.
whoever that is, and jam it. That's cheat code. But what happened since he got older is because that was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a couple of instances this year and even last year where he can't even elevate as much anymore.
Hmm.
You can see. I mean, that's normal. That's not a knock at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah.
That's just what it is. But it's still amazing what he's doing at this age.
Oh yeah.
But the one thing that I've noticed, the one thing that stands out with him at this point, is that he's become a shooter.
Yeah.
He's become a really effective shooter. I don't know. Did you remember the times when that was
He's-
the knock on his game?
He's never had like in his when he was a rookie, like first 3 or 4 years in the league. He had a 3-point shot, but it wasn't as consistent. I think he's evolving more the way Kobe did when Kobe was in his last few years, and especially after the Achilles, and he just developed this crazy like 3-point shooting. Um, just he did develop the range and the consistency, and somehow I think when it was Kobe in his last few years, he he used whatever energy he had in his legs, and use it towards having a better balance and having like a better, I guess, better preparation for the shot. You know,
Yeah, LeBron's shot
same with
is
LeBron. Yeah,
ugly. It's ugly. It's ugly to watch.
yeah.
If you look at the form, it's I think it's not as pretty as everyone else, but it's
It's not as
effective.
textbook.
Yeah, it's effective now. He shot
Yeah.
40%, I believe, last year. He's shooting 40% this year, and take note, he's shooting way more volume now.
Yeah.
That's the difference in his game. So if you look at a shot chart, what you would see is that historically speaking, what LeBron would do as and the shot chart uh, pretty much supports this is that he usually gets his points from either the paint
Yeah.
or the 3 point line. He's never had a mid range shot. He's never that type of player who's gonna take one dribble pull up. He's not that.
Right.
So it's either he's gonna dunk it, he's gonna do a layup or alley oop, whatever. He's gonna shoot a three, or sometimes he's gonna go in the post right now.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. So
Yeah.
what I've noticed, is that his 3 point volume has really increased these
Yeah.
last 3 years, which makes sense given his age. He can't really go to the cup as much as he wants anymore, and that's praise to him that to expanding his game, right?
Yeah. Expanding his game and really adapting to to what he can do now. In his advanced age. And has he's developed that fadeaway, right? That post fade.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's recently used. I believe he started using it consistently in second
Yeah.
stint in Cleveland.
Yep.
So he has that. I don't want to say it's dependable yet.
Hmm.
I still think it's a bad shot, but if it works, it works.
It works. Yeah.
Again, his mechanics aren't really that pretty, but
Hmm.
if it works, it works.
Yeah.
But to JJ's point, one of the biggest adjustments I've seen this year, and it's kind of made me wonder why no one has done it before, is that he's actually played LeBron as a point guard now. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Meaning he's the one who's actually setting the table.
Well,
He's
not
the one
just
who's
bringing the
actually
ball down, but actually, calling out the plays and being that
because
facilitator.
exactly,
Which
exactly
was
because
actually, I think, his role in high school, right?
yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
because his teammates were more of shooters and post players, he
Yeah.
was the one actually doing the point guard stuff, and
Yeah.
that's the thing that I've noticed them doing it now. So
Hmm.
in the beginning, the Lakers were running a motion heavy offense.
Hmm.
LeBron was screening everywhere, and I believe that affected him a lot.
Yeah.
If you see his stats in the start of the
Hmm.
season, the first couple of games, um, he looked fatigued. Really, I think by the third quarter, he was breathing heavily.
His
His
gas.
legs were
Yeah.
affected.
Yeah.
But moving to this point guard type role, where he's the one who's affecting the defense, he's setting up
Hmm.
the offense, and they're still doing movement, but
Hmm.
not just a lot with him
Hmm.
because there are some plays that I've seen where he would just stand there, he would command the defense, and then someone would do a cut or a screen on the weak side,
Uh-huh.
and LeBron would find them.
Yeah. He's.
So
I mean, he has the vision. He has the vision to play point. And I think towards the last few games also when JJ benched D'Lo, he kind of took on more of that playmaking because I mean, to be honest, D'Lo's playmaking is suspect. He there's a lot of bad habits that need to be that needed to be corrected. That's why JJ benched him. But yeah, I think this role fits LeBron better, and it also fits the system better. Because you're getting like and I know we're gonna talk about Dalton Connect later, but I mean he's been benefiting from from this offense that they're doing right now.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest change because one of the biggest knocks on this roster right now is there's a lot of redundancy with it. If you look at it, AR is redundant with D'Lo,
Mm.
and Drew is redundant with LeBron.
With LeBron, yeah.
So getting one of the moves that has to be praised is just JJ getting D'Lo's buy-in off the bench,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because that opened up the second unit. The weakest part of this team is the bench. We know
Yep.
the top five are legit,
Yeah.
but the problem the last 2 years, and we could talk about this later, is that it has been the bench, and that has been solved somewhat. They still need
Yeah.
upgrades. We'll talk about that later.
Hmm.
But for now, moving D'Lo to the bench, giving LeBron the point guard role has expanded everyone's games, and that's why they're doing this right now.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has benefited anybody more than Anthony Davis. I want to
Yeah.
talk about Anthony Davis. Okay,
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is having an MVP season. I think he's just
Yep.
everybody's been doing the meme that he got mad because he didn't get the Defensive Player of the Year, which he should
Right.
have, in my opinion. But he's having an MVP type
He's
season right now, having
it's a
30
career year
points,
for
double
AD.
double 30 points,
Yeah.
and still doing it on the defensive end. What do you think about AD so far?
Gosh, AD's been a beast. Like first, I don't know, first 3 games he scored like 30 plus points and had like double digit rebounds. Like AD is all over the place, which is what we wanted him to be. That's the reason why we got him in the first place. We we were expecting this of him when he got in, but first few years it was rough. A lot of injuries. I myself, when I watch AD, I get a little bit nervous when he takes a fall, because when he
Yeah,
takes a fall, he always takes a fall hard. You know,
yeah, yeah,
but I think God, there's just the improvement, especially with the shooting, especially because his shooting now is way up from last year. Just being more active on defense and moving his feet, helping out, getting those blocks, getting those stops, contesting shots. And not only that, he's contesting shots and he's running full sprint back on offense. And he's gonna get either a three, or they're gonna dump it in the post. He's gonna beast in the paint, and also getting those offensive rebounds. Yeah, that's why we got him in the first place.
I think I figured out the reason why.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's because the way he's being used in this offense is probably the most different way he's been used in his career.
Yeah.
So let me break it down. So JJ has mentioned that AD is the hub for their offense,
Yeah.
and that's engaged him a lot because look at how much spacing him being the one who's setting the plays up has generated.
Yep.
So with AD moving up to set screens, doing the hands-offs himself, he has attracted the defense and it opened up a lot of driving lanes for his teammates
Yeah.
and for himself.
Yep.
And he's benefited from these because his teammates can penetrate into the paint and they can dump it off for him easy, or they attract the defense so much that he's there to pick up the loose balls and just put it up.
Yeah.
There's so many plays that happen where AR or even LeBron would miss a layup, and then he's just right there to pick it up.
Yeah.
Laid it. That's it. Easy 2 points.
And there's
And
multiple threats also on the floor. Like, teams are gonna the good thing about this Laker team is you don't know who's gonna explode. I know it's a given that AD's gonna get his numbers, but at any time, AR can go for 20, connect just went for 37 against Utah.
Yeah.
Even D'Lo can explode. I remember
Not in
last
a while,
year
but okay.
when I no, I was last year, March. No. This year, March this year. I was at that game. I saw that. I was at that
Yeah.
game when they played the Thunder, March 4th. D'Lo had 9 threes.
I think,
I was
yeah, I
like,
think D'Lo's still capable of doing it. But this offense, I believe, he's just not a fit for it, right?
Oh.
We'll talk about it later. That's what
Yeah,
we
yeah,
could
yeah.
do with D'Lo.
Yeah.
But for AD's sake, I would say, and I don't know if you'd agree, but he's probably the best two-way player in the league right now.
Oh yeah,
He's
100%.
probably that. The
100%.
best two-way player in the league. I saw the rankings, the MVP rankings right now. He's third. I think that's absurd.
Who's number one and two?
They had Jokic first,
Jokic.
Tatum
Uh,
second, and him third. I
oh,
think that's
Tatum
absurd.
second. Yeah, yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
nah. I think AD is probably top two at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's got the whole season to prove it. And you
Yeah,
mentioned the hard falls, and yeah, I agree with that. It's
yeah.
always been everyone's been saying whenever he takes a spill. But he's been very durable this year.
He's very durable. Yeah.
I mean, look, he just got hit in the nuts 2 games in a row. He got hit in the eye, but
I think
he's
it also goes to the intangibles that JJ Redick's preaching, the conditioning and just being, just being ready for the moment.
speaking of being ready for the moment. How about Dalton Connect, man?
Whew,
How about that
man.
guy? How did that guy fall to 17?
Rookie of the year, you think?
I think he's up there. I think he's
He's
up
up there,
there.
right? Yeah,
He's
yeah.
up there. Him and Jared McCain are probably some of the top rookies right now. But
Uh,
I don't think this team has had this kind of shooter
no.
in the longest while.
Yeah.
They've tried getting some.
Yeah.
They had tried Malik Beasley. They
Malik Monk.
tried. I mean, they even tried Mike Muscala. They tried to get one thing that
Oh, that's such a
I
bad. That was
mean.
such a
What's
bad trade.
what's when you're building a LeBron team? What's the formula, right? You gotta have standstill catch
Yeah.
shoot
You
shooters.
gotta have a shooter. Yeah.
You gotta have a shooter, and they never
Yeah.
had that. Even in 2020 when they won, they never had that.
No. No. Well, they had Danny
So
Green, but he was so off in the playoffs.
he was off. He was.
Yeah.
He wasn't this good. He wasn't this
Yeah.
good, right? When Danny Green he was good with the Spurs in the Raptors, but he just
Yeah.
it is what it is. But again,
But
they
he
never
played good
had
defense.
they never had this kind of
Yeah.
threat.
No.
He never
No.
had this kind of threat, and I believe it's 4 games now where he's had double digit
Double
scoring
digit.
like
Yeah.
this. He
Yeah.
started the games that he started. He's just
He had
produced.
17 or 19, I think.
It was 7. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had three threes last night, and that was with the Magic player Gary Harris and Jalen Suggs just hugging him. They
Yeah.
wouldn't let him get open. They were
Mhm.
trying to get him open, but
Yeah.
he still got three threes off. That's
Mhm.
that's that's not a bad thing.
I think that's an adjustment JJ should make. Like, when when Connect is getting defended that way, and it has to open up other people, for opportunities, especially outside, because from this point on, he's gonna be a marked man.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you think that impacts the rest of the team now, given that they have this threat that defenses will actually pay attention to now? You can't go under screens. You can't sag off him. You have to have a man on him all the time.
I
What
think
what
that
do you think would be the
that
impact of
that
this?
opens up more opportunity for LeBron and AD to, you know, to do do what they do. Yes.
And
And
I
also
really
AR as well.
yeah. I hope AR benefits from this, and I
Mm.
really hope D'Lo benefits from this as
Yeah.
well. It's just he's been having a very down year, and
Mm.
obviously he's the odd man out here, right?
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. And they've been
Yeah.
trying to trade him for 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the year he finally gets traded?
Um who the I think the better question is who do we want to get? Uh a player you have a player of D'Lo's value who can probably break out in other team systems, but I mean, would do you think you should get another point guard given that LeBron's already assuming that role?
Well, here's the thing. If we look at the assets of the Lakers, the only asset you can essentially trade
Mm.
that has a positive value would be Austin Reeves, and you don't want to
Oh,
trade him
no.
unless for the right person. Okay, let's
Yeah.
let's let's make that.
Yeah.
But you have D'Lo who's making $18 million.
Mm.
You have Gabe Vincent who's making 10,
10. Yeah.
and you have Max Christie who's making I believe 8.
8.
And then you have
Vanderbilt.
yes, Jared Vanderbilt, and you have Max
I don't know
Lewis
what
who's
happened to him.
making.
There was this one stretch where I think it was 2 years ago.
It was last year.
Where,
It was last year
oh, last
where
year.
before
Last
he
year.
got injured again, right?
Yeah.
So
He was just
he
playing
was
really good defense,
yeah.
and that kind of helped us get that winning streak and make the playoffs.
And here's the thing with that. I think best case scenario, and this is best case because I just read the news about it, and they mentioned that Vanderbilt's progress is going slowly, slower than that
Slower
they
than
expected.
expected. Yeah.
We don't even know if he's coming back, and at this point, I think we can assume that he's not.
Yeah.
But theoretically speaking, he's probably gonna do the Cam Reddish role once he come back. Once he
Yeah.
comes back,
He
imagine
can
that.
shoot. Yeah.
He can shoot a little. Cam
Yeah.
Reddish can shoot a little, but they're both great defenders,
Right.
right? They're both decent defenders at the very least. But
True.
Vanderbilt is better one.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
imagine that rowing the floor if he's healthy, of course. But I think they really need to make a trade because
Uh,
if there's something to be learned from the Jazz game, sorry, the Magic game
the
last
Magic
night
game.
was that they really need someone off the bench who can create for them,
Yeah.
and that's supposed to be D'Lo. But he's really struggled in this offense. He just can't find where he fits because
Yeah.
they do so many there's so many much more movements. They've strayed away from the high screen and roll, which is bread and butter. And he's been forced to becoming a spot up shooter, which he's not. Historically speaking, he's done most of his damage off the dribble.
Yep.
Whether it's passing, whether it's getting into the lane with floaters
Getting
or
to the lane,
even
yeah.
threes. So he's obviously not a good fit for this team now, given the fact that what their offense is. Do you think realistically there's a way to trade him for someone?
Realistically, um, I'm really not sure, man. Like I don't. I mean, I would I would get another probably another three or four. Another stretch three or four in place of him, but yeah, I don't know how marketable he is as an asset to other teams, but I mean, he's he's had considering he's had a down year, but I don't know how he would fit in other team systems as well.
I do have an idea. If you want
Yeah,
to hear it,
yeah.
I do. I think if it's in Washington,
Oh,
I think if it's in Washington. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
okay, yeah.
So Lakers have long targeted Jonas Valanciunas, right? So
Oh,
Jonas is making 10 million right now.
uh,
He's someone on their list, and a
Valanciunas.
lot of sources have actually said that Lakers are going to pursue him. Look, Jonas is a good. They're probably going to start him if they get him, and that relieves a lot of pressure from AD. Obviously, Jonas can stretch the floor. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he can make it every once in a while.
Yeah,
So he can shoot it at the very least. So you have to at least respect the shot.
right. Yeah,
He's a good post-up player. He's a good rebounder. I'm not sure how that fits into this whole offense, but it at least gives AD a little bit of rest. It
yeah.
gives him a little bit of
Defensively, yeah.
breathing room. Now,
Interesting. Valanciunas. Yeah.
and look at this. Imagine a team that has Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Poole, and D'Lo. It's like a frat house. I think that's gonna be. I'm not sure if Washington takes that trade unless
I
the
don't
Lakers
know,
give up
man.
a pick. But it's a pipe dream. It's
Jordan
a pipe
Poole,
dream.
Kuzma, D'Lo. Yeah.
I want to see that team though. I want to see
Yeah,
that team.
yeah.
A full on clown show. I want to
Yep.
see that team. See what happens with that, how it implodes. But seriously speaking, though, I would love Kyle Kuzma back.
Oh,
If they
oh,
can
yeah,
get him.
yeah. Yeah.
If they can get him and Jonas, I think that's the win. I think that's I think that's the deal you make. The most realistic and most helpful one. It's because I don't think Washington wants to pay Kuz. So Kuz is looking for a new deal right now, and
Oh,
Washington's not going to give that to him because they're rebuilding right now.
yeah.
So if they can get Kuz and Jonas for a package centered around D'Lo without giving up a lot of picks, I think
Yeah.
that's a win. I think that's the bench upgrade you're looking for.
Right.
That's probably it. It. Okay, now
What
with that,
about, is Christian Wood even playing?
yeah, there's another guy, right? Well, he had surgery, so
He had
I'm
surgery,
not
okay.
sure what's gonna happen with him.
Yeah.
But he essentially has surgery, and they really haven't provided any updates for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you get Jonas, he's essentially gone.
Yeah.
So again, he's on his last year of his deal. So I don't think there's a lot of market for a trade there, obviously because he's injured as well. But
Yep.
from a player perspective, I'm really not expecting him to come back this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's done, and this is a problem, right? The Lakers really need to upgrade their bench.
Yeah, yeah,
But
they do.
but given that, well, given this hot start, okay, let me frame it a little bit for you.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a prior to yesterday's loss, right? They were 7-0
Yeah.
to start the
Home. Yeah.
start their home games.
Yeah.
So that now they're 7-1.
Mm-hmm.
This was their best start at home since Gary Payton and Carmelo were on the team. They won 12 straight in 2003, 2004.
Oh man, I missed
So
that team.
they're reaching this level, right?
Yeah.
And this is the best start that this team has had since 2020.
Oh.
And we all know what happened in 2020. I'm not talking about the pandemic.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
what do you think this team's chances are moving forward? So right now, I believe they're third. I think they're third or fourth in the West.
Third, yeah, behind the Warriors and
Warriors in the Thunder,
Thunder.
who they're gonna play soon.
Mhm.
So it's a good barometer. But what do you think about the chances this year, given how everyone's played?
Well, the one question is they have to get past Denver because Denver's been the thorn on our side for the last 2 years. But I'm looking playoffs definitely. If my if my confidence is high, it's gonna be straight playoffs this time. They're not gonna be in the play-in, so that I guess gives more time for LeBron, AD to get a little bit of rest before before the postseason. I mean, I think also that pressure of having to at least make the play-in, because that's what our expectations were like the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Like we have to make the play in and then we get to the playoffs. But I think that, you know, the tempered expectations of, oh, we just have to make the play in. Um, it kind of, once we're there, once we're in the top eight, and then we had to play Denver. I think, I think the team was fatigued. I think, they were spent. All that energy was just focused on just getting through Minnesota, getting through the play in. But now I think once we have a better record, and probably hopefully we can get at least top three, in the playoffs, and that kind of gives a little bit more time for time to recover from and really have a fresh start for the postseason.
that's a good point.
Yeah,
Fatigue, right?
yeah,
So that was probably that was probably one of the biggest things in the last 2 years because again they're playing these extra games, they're
yeah,
playing these top seeded teams,
yeah.
and mostly on the road.
Hmm.
So getting they're in position right now
Yeah,
to
and
get
imagine Drew,
home
when we
court
got swept.
advantage in the first round.
Yeah, when we got swept by Denver, we had to go through Memphis, like run and gun, John Morant. Yeah, we had to go through Memphis, and we had to go through Golden State
Yeah. So
before playing Denver.
yeah, I think that's a good point. If
Yeah,
they can get into the top four at the very least and
hmm,
avoid the play-in and get home court in the first
yeah,
round at
get home
least,
court. Yep.
that's probably a big deal. And
Hmm.
they have, as long as AD and LeBron are playing this way, as long as they have someone like AR who is contributing well, and Rui. Let's not forget about Rui, right? He
Yeah.
was playing very well before he got injured.
Hmm.
I think they do have a very small window here to actually.
Hmm.
I personally thought it was closed. Okay, so I personally thought that when they did the Westbrook trade, that was done. That was the
Yeah.
end of this window.
Yeah.
This JJ hire has reopened that a little bit. I
Hmm.
believe that they're playing at a very high level. They're playing
Yep.
together.
Hmm.
They're playing with purpose.
Hmm.
And if they keep this up, and especially if AD keeps his MVP type season up, and
Right.
LeBron is playing like this,
Hmm.
rejuvenated, I think they're in line for at least a top four seed
Up for
in
yeah.
the West,
Yeah.
right?
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
wherever they play, I'd be very, very scared if I was them. Now,
Yeah.
it's early in the season. I don't want to make too much of a splash on it,
Hmm.
but just I don't want to put you in the spot. What do you think? Do you have any predictions on how the season would go?
Like the regular season.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean, if you no the playoffs before
yeah, the
before we
playoffs.
end
Yeah.
this
Okay,
before we end this thing, let's go out with a bang. Let's make a prediction right
make
here,
a
right now.
prediction. Okay,
Where are the Lakers gonna end up when the season is over? W-
if I'm confident enough, conference finals.
Conference finals? I would
Conference
say the same
finals.
thing. I would
Yeah,
say the same thing. At
yeah.
least they're at least a conference
We
finals
gotta
team.
get through. Okay, a age is a factor, and it would be scary to play OKC in the conference finals or um Golden State because Golden State's also rejuvenated.
Okay,
Steph's getting older, Draymond's getting older, but they're playing very well right now.
okay. As far as OKC goes, I think they've had OKC's number the last couple of years. They figured out how to do it, and they played really well against OKC. They're very competitive against them.
Yeah,
We all know SGA's
yeah,
is another guy who's making waves right now,
yeah.
and they got the depth, and they got my favorite player in the world, Alex Caruso. So
Yes.
I give him a chance, but I think it's not gonna be an easy series if they face them, but I think it's a very winnable one. Now the
Mm,
Warriors, I'm much more concerned about the Warriors. What I've
mm,
seen, and this is the preseason, fine, I get it,
mm,
but what I've seen with this team is that when they're faced against physicality, it
mm.
gets really hard for them to produce. And this Magic game last night showed that.
Uh,
The Magic were playing them physical.
yep.
They weren't getting the calls.
Mm,
Their offense was getting blown up,
mm,
and they struggled to execute. Let's face it. If it weren't for LeBron hitting those threes,
mm.
they probably would have lost big,
Yeah.
right?
Mm,
So one of the weaknesses in this team, and what I've noticed so far, is that they have trouble with physical teams, and the
yeah.
Warriors are physical.
Yep.
Wiggins is up there. Draymond is there.
Draymond.
They're gonna play those handoffs and switches.
What's
They're
his
gonna
name?
switch everything, play those handoffs tight.
Kuminga still there?
Yeah, Kuminga's still
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
the Warriors are a very physical team, just with Draymond himself. So
Yeah.
I think the one of the biggest hurdles the Lakers are gonna face are the Warriors, obviously,
Mm.
and the Nuggets at the very least. But
Nuggets too.
let's see what happens. That's the game's tomorrow
Yeah.
against the Nuggets.
Yep.
So let's watch out what the trends are, and let's see what happens in the future. But
Yeah.
for our purposes, the
Yes.
Bigote brothers, are predicting the Lakers will make the Western Conference Finals.
At least the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that.
50-win
All right,
season. Hope
50.
hopefully
Okay,
50-win season and conference finals.
I think 50 is possible. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they're gonna hover around that 50,
Yep.
and yeah, depending on the matchups, they might even make the finals. But I agree. The ceiling is definitely the Western Conference Finals now.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if
Well,
we do make the finals, it's a possibility it's another Lakers Celtics. You know.
I want that. I want
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Hey, but
Let's not get ahead of ourselves for
let's not
now.
get too ahead of ourselves
Yeah.
there. I do think the Celtics are really good right now, but I mean, bro, the Cavs, man, the
Oh,
Cavs.
yeah. Yeah.
I know they beat
Are they still
the
undefeated?
nah, they lost to the Celtics.
They lost already. Okay. Good.
So the Celtics beat them.
Uh,
I believe it was in Boston, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. But yeah, they lost the first time
Mhm.
to the Celtics. So yeah, it's gonna be a good season at least, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to doing more of these, man. I had
Yes,
fun.
man. Yeah. Let's do more of these.
Let's do
Yep.
this more often. Now,
Yep.
obviously I'm in New Zealand, you're in the States, so figure
Yep.
the timelines out, but
Uh,
I had fun and let's do more.
yeah. All right.
All right. See you
Cool.
guys soon.
All right.
See you
See
in the
ya.
next episode.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.